Mozart is, of course, a mainstay, pièce de résistance of any musician. He will tend to show up on a regular basis. And so it was only a matter of time before he came back. Mozart, he did not write many works in minor tonalities, and those are pieces that I particularly enjoy spending time with. It's improvisatory in style, which also for Mozart is rather unusual, since you have this purity of architecture and this perfect sense of proportions in his compositions. And so these fantasies, whether it's the D minor or the C minor one, have a bit of this rambling quality to them. And I had this idea of wanting to actually remove the last 10 bars of the fantasy, which are not from Mozart himself. And as a fantasy was meant to be preceding another piece, be it a fugue or something else, to have actually the fantasy be the introduction to the D minor concerto. So that is really the reason why I specifically wanted that piece to be on the album. Mozart's music is perhaps the certainty that there is something else, or at least the desire to believe in that alternative, because it makes your immediate life a better one. You know how everything has been said about Mozart and his music, about how it's the music of the angels, and I never can decide if it's the music of Paradise Lost or Paradise Found. If you think of his music as having somehow a connection to angels, or something which is beyond our immediate world, then Silvestrov's music speaks from the other world directly. I was always interested in couplings that were not predictable ones. So unusual combinations, because I feel as if pieces and even sometimes pieces of different composers shed a special light onto one another. And then you hear that piece within a different context. And that has always interested me. And in the case of Silvestrov specifically, being the partner of Mozart on this album, for me there is a word that defines both their music, and that is this notion of impermanence, something which is immaterial. Both musics have this transparency to them, which makes them compatible. My connection to Silvestrov started many, many years ago when Manfred Eicher from ECM gave me a recording as a present of the silent songs, the Stille Lieder. And so I fell in love with his music at that time. So it has been now quite a few years that I have sort of roamed around the repertoire. And it's like a friendship. You know, you revisit it, ideally, on a regular basis. In this case, it felt as if the conversation needed to continue. Well, I think there's the obvious connection with Credo in terms of this coupling of a classical composer or a romantic composer with a contemporary composer. And again, the idea behind that is none other than this interest I've always had in resonances and the light that different composers, just like you would, in fact, in a concert program, and composing this program in a way, structuring it for the purpose of recording. Why should it always be monothematic or monochromatic? So it is in a way the twin. You could call it the twin project of Credo in that sense.